Welcome to the Worship Probs podcast, where we aim to entertain, encourage, and equip worship and tech leaders all around the world. Look, we all know that serving in worship and production is great, but the problems, those are real. Thanks for joining us as we dive into today's episode with our host, Brian Tabor.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 389 of the Worship Probs podcast. Guys, I'm so glad you're here. This is a really, really special one, and I think you are going to be blessed and encouraged and challenged and all those good things today. It's going to be an awesome episode. You got me solo today, and I'll tell you why. Because today is a special episode. It's been a really long time since we've done a best of the big room question. And that's what today is. And so you're going to get some incredible answers. So man, settle in. If maybe you're traveling for Memorial Day, I don't know what you're doing, but settle in because you're going to want to open your notes app. You're going to want to take some notes on this one because of course, I've got prayer concerns. I got the OGs for you, and I got a DM from somebody recently that said, "Hey, prayer concerns work better when you have a co-host with you." So I just laughed at it. This person came back about 10 minutes later, and they said, "Oh my word! I just realized this is a prayer concern." That's like an inception moment, a prayer concern about prayer concerns. But I got great content for you today with prayer concerns. You're going to love these. And then I'm going to share some best of the big room question answers with you. And these are going to come from kind of all over the life of the podcast. And I'm going to tell you who we got here. We got Sam Lynn. Sam Lynn, my oldest friend. He hates to be called that, but he is my longest running friend. This would be 35 years. So we got Sam Lynn. That was episode 171. Okay. And then we've got Lizzie Morgan from episode 349. Incredible answer. And then from episode 344, we've got Stephen McWhirter. And that dude, man, he's on fire. So that's going to bless you. Then episode 324, we've got Jenn Johnson. The one and only Jenn Johnson. And then we've got back in episode 308, Mr. Ian Simkins. Mr. Ian Simkins, the one and only. And then we're finishing it up, certainly last but not least in any way. From episode 255, we've got Brooke, Ligertwood. And these are going to bless you today. I promise you that. So thank you. If you're watching on YouTube, thanks for watching. If you're listening on your favorite podcast platform, thanks for listening. I hope you will do something for us. Smash that subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube. Just hit it, man. That way, every time we share a video, you get notified. And if you're listening on Apple, just stop for a second. Give us a 5-star rating and a really fresh review. That's a huge, huge help to us. So thanks for hanging out today. Now, before I dive in, as I do every week, I got to give a shout out to our two incredible partners. Literally, the podcast wouldn't happen without them. And there's a link that we share, our campsite link. And inside there is a bunch of links. And there are links to both of these companies. They're making impacts on churches in incredible ways. So I hope you'll go check out Planning Center and AE Global. This episode of the Worship Probs podcast is brought to you by Planning Center, an all-in-one software that can help you organize every facet of your ministry, connect with your people, and help your people stay connected to each other. Among the many ways Planning Center can help you do that is through task management. In Planning Center, you can create detailed tasks, organize to-do lists, and even collaborate on those tasks with other team members in real time. Do you have recurring events and projects with long to-do lists? Make a task list template to save time. Have regular tasks you need help keeping up with? Set your tasks to automatically repeat at an interval of your choosing. And the best part is that you can create tasks from absolutely anywhere in Planning Center using the toolbar. You'll find your Tasks tab in Planning Center Home, the place you see all the important updates happening across your account. To learn more and get started today, visit planningcenter.com or click the link in our bio. Prayer Concerns is brought to you by our friends at AE Global. Worship and production ministry is hard. Every week you're preparing, troubleshooting, and dreaming about what could be next. And most days, it can feel like you're doing it all alone. But what if you had a trusted partner who understood the pressure and chaos and walked with you through it? For more than 30 years, AE Global has been building relationships with churches just like yours, helping with everything from audio, video and lighting to system design and even installation. But they're more than an integrator, and they're about more than just selling gear. AE Global is a team that comes alongside you and a partner for the long haul, someone to brainstorm, troubleshoot, and dream with. They don't just care about your equipment, but the people behind it. Because great ministry happens when you don't have to carry it all by yourself. If you're ready for a partner who understands church production and wants to help you move forward with confidence, visit the link in our bio and reach out to AE Global today. Don't do ministry alone. Navigate it together with AE Global. So Sam, I know you listen to the podcast.
Oh, yeah.
And, we end every interview with what we call the big room question. We could gather every worship leader and all their volunteers and every production leader and all their volunteers. We gathered them all in one big room and we gave Sam Lynn a microphone. What would you want to say to that room?
Well, because I've listened from episode 1, I've heard every person answer this question. And have certainly spent some time thinking about, if I was ever asked the question, what I would say. But I'm also the kind of person that is less likely to have something that I've held on to for 25 years and more likely to share what God's been stirring in my heart during that season. A couple of weeks ago, I was given the privilege to actually give the message at our church and was assigned, we were in a series in Ephesians, and I was assigned a portion of Ephesians that included Ephesians 5:1. And Ephesians 5:1 says, imitate God, therefore, in everything you do, because you're his dear children. And so what I would say to that room full of people is I would say, be a child of God who imitates our Father rather than impersonates him.
Say that last part again.
Say it one more time.
Yeah.
Be a child of God. And I think this could apply to every worship leader, tech person, pastor. The passage of scripture says, imitate God, therefore, as dearly loved children. I think God would have all of us be children who imitate our Father rather than impersonate him. And I took a lot of time as part of that message, and I kind of dug into that. Impersonation is copying someone's voice or mannerisms to entertain or even to deceive. Imitation is copying the voice, mannerisms, or character of a person out of admiration. Impersonation is pretending to be another person. Imitation is sincerely attempting to be like that person.
Come on.
Following them as a model, as an example, and as a pattern. Impersonation wants you to think I sound or act like someone, but imitation desires for you to think I am like that person. Impersonation is short-term, imitation is long-term. You simply observe someone to impersonate them, but you study someone to imitate them.
Come on.
Impersonation requires an awareness of a person, just an awareness of them. Imitation requires a relationship. Impersonation, I'm going to say it, is fake. Imitation is sincere and real and genuine. Impersonation glorifies the impersonator. Imitation glorifies the one being imitated, the one being imitated. Wow. I get emotional talking about it because, again, it's something God has done in my life. But if my goal is to imitate God, if my goal is to be like Jesus, to be like God, then everything else in my life flows out of that desire, flows out of that commitment. And so what God's been teaching me, what I want to share these people is that, so the goal for all of us is to be as much like the Lord as we can be, not checking boxes, not saying what the world would want us to say, which would be, Scott Longer, you just need to be the best Scott Longer you can be. No, God is not calling us to be the best we can be. He's calling us to be like him. And here's the great part. This is the part that I really feel strong, and I so want to be an encouragement to everyone who's listening. Here's the really great part. That is not something we do for him. That is something he does through us. It's not something that just happens. It's a process. No matter where you are in that process, it's called, the fancy word for it is sanctification. You're born again. You become a child of God. And this is the process of, over your lifetime, you become more like him. One of my favorite verses, Galatians 4:6 says, and because we are his children, God has sent the Spirit of his Son into our hearts, prompting us to call out, Abba, Father, or Daddy. And so when that happens, then becoming like him is something that's happening to me, something I'm receiving, not merely copying. And as his dearly loved child, his love for me is what empowers me to imitate him. So you can tell God's doing a lot in my life about that. Imitation, plus we can just sit here and we can just all of us realize, I said earlier that imitation requires relationship. It should go without saying that means that one of the biggest things we can do for our teams, that we can do for the people we lead, is to cultivate our relationship with Jesus. To imitate him requires relationship with him. And if I was going to do my best imitation of Brian, it requires that I hang out with Brian, that I do life with Brian, that Brian is a part of my life. He is a significant part of who I am. And I know enough about Brian that I can imitate him. And friends, if you don't do life with God, if you don't cultivate your relationship with God, I hate to say it, but if you don't do that, then you might be able to impersonate him, but you will not be able to imitate him. And so church leaders, what our team needs from us more than anything else is for us to be imitators. Come on. Not impersonators. And you lead your team well in that, and you watch what God will do in and through you.
Come on. Boom. Pick up that mic and drop it.
I feel like we need to pass an offering plate or something.
Man, that is good stuff, Sam.
I just preached a little part
good.
of my message.
It's good, man.
I think it has a lot to do with what I was talking about earlier about finding how to be authentic. I think that when I look back on the moments where I feel like I did what I was supposed to do as a worship leader, most of the time it had nothing to do with the song choice. It had nothing to do with me yelling at the people to worship. But when I remember those moments where I feel like people were inspired, I think it was when I just showed them how much I loved worshiping the Lord. I think there's nothing more inspiring to people than them seeing you love to worship. And I think we forget that. Like my pastor always says, if you run, they'll walk. If you walk, they'll stand still. And if you stand still, they'll die. And I think that's such good advice for worship leaders. But I think when you add that, making it an authentic expression, it helps so much. Like the people that I loved growing up just loved the Lord. And I was so inspired by watching them worship the Lord. And it made me want to worship. And so I think that's such a simple thing But I think we forget it because sometimes we feel so much pressure to do this or do this. But really, like, if you just get on stage and love on the Lord in an authentic way, that will inspire people to worship. And then a lot of times I'll have people come up to me and be like, oh, I want to be an artist or I want to be a worship leader. And they ask for what they should be doing right now. And I just always say that wherever you are right now, like God has you there for such a specific reason. And I think sometimes we can get so frustrated with where we are that we don't use that season to learn for what's next. And part of my journey has been so much of, I know I sang for Lauren because I was going to be with Maverick. I know I was in Maverick watching Naomi because I would be doing my solo thing. And I think that in those seasons, you can be frustrated because you're singing background, or you can be frustrated because you're not whatever. But God really does put you in spaces to learn from those seasons for what's next. And so I think a lot of people, if you can figure out how not to get frustrated with you are, but realize like God has me here for a reason to learn something, that it can really help you and build you for what's next.
Mm-hmm.
This is a one I already know. I've been saying this to people for years. Worship out of the overflow. Now I'm going to unchristianize that for you, okay? Basically, spend so much time with Jesus, not preparing for Sunday morning, not writing a song, don't hit record on voice memos, literally just singing to him, just reading to be with him, for no other purpose than that. Because out of that place, you start to worship out of the overflow of that place. So when you get on a stage, it's now people are just experiencing who you are all the time when nobody's watching.
Yeah.
And I think that's really the thing. It's why you and I think talked about this. There's like some people you might hear get up that really aren't as skilled, talented as others. They might not have the coolest voice, but there's something about them that just leads you into the presence of Jesus. It's unquantifiable outside of the fact that you're like, wait a minute, this person's been with Jesus. Like they know him. That's the thing you can't, there's no trick to it. You just spend so much time with him that's who you are in public is the overflow of who you are when no one's watching.
I'd start by saying thank you, because I know what it is to get up early, and I know what it is to actually sacrificially serve, and not just the times that you get the credit or the glory, but the early mornings and the late nights and the fixing problems and the working through things with teams and being unoffendable. I would say thank you for serving Jesus and for serving his church. And secondly, I would sing, you never know with me. I would say character matters and your purity matters. And we can't take lightly our lives lived off the stage. And we have to keep that fire burning. And the things that happen when no one's watching really matter to God. The things that are positive that happen and the things that you're tempted with to do negatively, they all matter and they're all seen. And that level of holiness and purity that you guard and protect in your own life really affects the corporate gatherings, and leading and being in a leadership position, which if you're up there on that stage, welcome to leadership. If you're a Christian, welcome to leadership, because you are leading people to Jesus as your goal. So we are called to live at a higher standard of holiness. And it really does matter, not in a scared way, but in a holy fear of God, that our lives, every part of them, really matter. And so I would just charge people to a call for what does purity look like? What does leveling up in health and purity, emotionally, physically, and spiritually, that we would be healthy and holy. And so what does that look like for you? And sit down with the Lord and process that through. How do I get healthier? And what does holiness look like? Because that's a big part of everything that we do on the creative side. That's the foundation of it.
It would be really short, man. And I think this answer is a lot different today than it was even 5 years ago. But what I would want to say is that you are the beloved of God.
Mm.
I think so much of our dysfunction and unhealth comes from forgetting that we are the beloved of God. Henry Nouwen writes so beautifully about the most important thing that we as leaders can tend to is to remember our belovedness.
Mm.
That when the Father said to Jesus, "This is my Son with whom I'm well pleased," that by extension to those who are in Christ is spoken over us. When I think of the unhealthiest seasons of my life, of which there have been many, man, that truth has been the most subdued. I have not believed that, man, before I do or accomplish anything, that I'm the beloved of God. This is the rebuke in Revelation 2, right? You're doing all these good things. I see your good deeds, yet I hold this one thing against you. You have left your first love. God seems to take very seriously doing things for him without doing them with him. And that witness, I just don't know that there's any more important thing that we can tend to. And so remember that, man, we are the Father's beloved son or daughter. And to those who are working tirelessly, often with little thanks, little praise, God looks at you and says, you are my beloved son. You are my beloved daughter. To lead and serve from that place, I think, is one of the, if not the greatest thing, particularly those of us in the church, can cling to.
That's a massive, question. I think hopefully I would just open the Bible and read some scripture, because those words are going to be better. And what comes to mind is Jeremiah 17, verse 7, which says, "Blessed is the one who trusts in the Lord, whose confidence is in him." Yeah. Wow. That's it. And then I would just put the microphone down and leave.
A literal mic drop. Well, those big room answers, man, good Lord. I still, honestly, they were all phenomenal. I still, honestly, I think about Sam's answer all the time. To be an imitator of Christ rather than an impersonator. And that just rocked me, man. It's still rocking me, honestly. They all rocked me. And so I hope you have enjoyed that. And if maybe this is your first time to go, back catalog to listen to some earlier episodes, man, go dive in. This is episode 389. So you got 388 other episodes. If you listen to, I think it was Tyler from Red Rocks who pointed out, if you listen to one a day, it'd take you more than a year to get through this deal, man. And that's 8 years of podcast, all kinds of topics, all kinds of guests. So it's a labor of love. It's a labor of love for you. And you know what else is a labor of love? Prayer concerns. So prayer concerns, man, sometimes people just let you have it. They didn't like what you did. They didn't like the service. They didn't like the music. The volume was too loud. The lights were in their eyes. You got holes in your jeans and you wore a hat and you didn't do any hymns. Or maybe even worse than not doing hymns is messing with their hymns, like putting a beat on it or adding a chorus or whatever. All manner of prayer concerns. We share these on the podcast. You'll always be anonymous. Your church will always be anonymous. Send yours in to us. You can go to our website, worshipleaderprobs.com, click on prayer concerns up in the menu, or just that campsite link I told you about earlier. Just scroll down. You'll scroll for a second, go to prayer concerns. It takes you right to that page on our website. Fill out the form. You're anonymous. You can also DM those to us on the socials. Obviously, you're not going to be anonymous if you do that, but we're never going to tell people who you are because we have been doing this for 8 years and we've never really done that. So we got a good track record. We'll keep you safe. All right. So these are OGs today, people just with a license to share. So let's dive right in. Prayer concern number 1. We can tell you're trying really hard. Can you imagine? Can you even imagine? I guess it could have been worse, but I mean, they can tell you're trying. You're trying really hard. You're trying really, really hard. Oh, my Lord. Okay, number 2, prayer concern number 2. How can you be a real worship leader if you don't play acoustic guitar? I've asked myself that often. I've often asked myself that. And man, I just can't play guitar. I own a guitar. I just can't play guitar. It's hard. That left hand, man. As a piano player, flipping that left hand over and making all those shapes, I can't do it. I've tried. I took lessons for a year. Couldn't do it. Always wanted to. So I'm not a real worship leader either. You're in good company. Marginal company, maybe. All right, number 3. Prayer concern number 3. After a service where we sing a, quote, new song, I was informed by a choir member to give them notice when we're going to sing one of those new songs. What was the song? Be Thou My Vision. be Thou My Vision. That's got to be, I think that's in every hymnal. It's been around for, I don't know, a long time. It's not a new song. Not a new song. Maybe you did something to it. Maybe you did a new arrangement of it. I don't know. But that choir member, not happy. Not happy. All right, number 4, prayer concern number 4. I literally got handed a note last night after an acoustic prayer service that compared my guitar playing to something out of a pagan ritual. That's so savage, man. Something out of a pagan ritual. All right, okay, so I'm no historian, okay, but when pagan rituals were happening, did an acoustic guitar exist, or maybe it would have been called something else back? What were those instruments called? I don't know. I don't know a lot about pagan rituals. I got to be honest. I had to brush up on that. But that does not sound positive. Their impression was not positive. Okay, you probably were slaying it. I'll give it to you. All right. Here's the last one. The bottom of the pudding cup. Prayer concern number 5. If you keep the volume at this level, we're all going to go deaf. Also, not positive, right? Their impression was not positive. So, fam, those are prayer concerns. Send yours in to us. We want to hear from you. Worshipleaderprobs.com. Click on the prayer concerns button up in the menu, or just DM those to us on the socials. Well, we've been telling you about this. It's coming. Pop-up Probs Charlotte. We've been doing these events, kind of experimenting in the event space, and we would love to see you. If you're in anywhere close to Charlotte, North Carolina, a couple hours, you can drive through the mountains. It'll be beautiful. It's in the summer. Friday, July the 10th. Pop-up Probs Charlotte. This is an event that's going to be held at the headquarters of AE Global, our dear friends and partners. There's a free lunch involved, guys. Free lunch. That's worth it, by the way. But there's going to be all kinds of content that day. It starts at 9 a.m. Link in the bio. Just click that campsite link. It's the very top one. Pop-up Probs Charlotte. It's free, but you do need to register. And I need to tell you, space is limited. So get in while you can for Friday, July the 10th, Pop-up Probs Chicago. I'll be there. Mrs. Probs, Kim Tabor will be there. Our friend Wade Joy. Wade Joy, longtime worship pastor at Elevation Church, and Wade is now coaching worship pastors and creatives and speaking and doing all kinds of incredible stuff. God is just using him. And so I'll be teaching a session on building teams and protecting culture. Kim and I will do some teaching together. Wade is going to teach a session. The 3 of us are going to record a live podcast that day with you in the room. It's going to be outstanding, and there might be other surprises. You never know. You never know what else might be happening that day. I can tell you this, you want to make sure you're there. So that's Friday, July the 10th, Pop-up Probs, Charlotte, North Carolina. Join us. It's going to be a blast. It's going to be an absolute blast. I'd love to meet you and get a little hang time that day as well. Experience Conference 2026. It's coming in September to Walt Disney World in Florida. It's going to be absolute fire, you guys. Experience Conference is just far and away. It's my favorite. And it's awesome. The content is incredible. You've got incredible artists that you whose songs you're singing in your churches every week. You've got unbelievable speakers. I'll be there. Pastor Scott Longyear will be there. Kim will be there. All kinds of incredible content. 100 workshops, something for everybody on your team. So come, bring your team with you. If you click that campsite link and scroll to Experience Conference, you're going to see a little gift from yours truly and from Experience Conference. It's a discount code. It's called, you use this code PROBS26, PROBS 26. You use that, and it's going to save you $30 on every person that you register. PROBS26. It's $30 off of every registration. And as the conference gets closer, the price goes up a little bit. So that $30 is going to make a serious dent. So use it. Use it and bring your team with you. It's going to be an amazing, amazing week. And you won't want to miss it. I promise you that. Worship Karaoke is our car show podcast. You got to see that on YouTube. That's where we put the full episode. Because of social media, they don't allow us to put long form videos up there. So first 15 is usually on socials, and then the full episode is on YouTube. So smash that subscribe button over at Worship Probs on YouTube. You can see full episodes. This was our 5th season, and we've had an absolute blast. And thanks to our buddy Tony Molinaro at Yellow Line Productions for his magical editing for those episodes. He does a great job. And then Kim and I, we've been telling you about our worship encounter retreats. These are really, really meaningful. And this is not just a commercial. We'd love to come and be with your team. We'd love to come and spend the day with your team and encourage them. There's spiritual preparation content. There's community building. There's practical preparation. Kim will take your vocalist. And I mean, Kim teaches vocal workshops all over the country. And so she'll take your vocalists and really pour into them. I'll take your band and your production team and pour into them. And then we'll end the day with just a really powerful time of communion that really builds the team. And your team's going to walk away really encouraged and refreshed. Oftentimes we'll stay over and lead with your team on Sunday. That's optional, of course, but we'd love to just hang with your team. So please, you got to reach out, info@worshipleaderprobs.com, and let's talk about scheduling a worship encounter retreat. And as always, guys, I love hanging out with you. I love hanging out with you in this episode, Best of the Big Room question, episode 389. This has been a blast today. So before you bounce, make sure that you are subscribed wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. And we'd love for you to just take a quick second, jump over to Apple Podcasts, leave us a 5-star rating and a really nice review. That helps the algorithms to spit out. Instagram is maddening. They're always messing and tinkering with the algorithm, and man, it's really frustrating. But this helps on the podcast side, so do that over on Apple Podcasts. We'd be really, really grateful for it. And thanks too for following us on all the socials. We're at Worship Probs on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Threads. Over on TikTok, we're at Worship Leader Probs. That's a story for another day. You can join the Worship Probs community group on Facebook. You got to answer 3 super easy questions to get into that group. What's the name of the group? What do you do at your church? What's the name of your church? Those are the 3. But it helps me keep the spammers out. And that's not the same content as any other platform. So you're not going to be seeing our memes in there and stuff. That's kind of like leaders helping leaders and supporting each other. So join us there. And on X, you can look for the hashtag Worship Leader Probs. And before I leave you today, I want to give a shout out to my man, this girl. I tell you, I've run out of adjectives to describe Allie Bajanos. Allie Be Creative. She does a killer job editing our podcast, making graphics, and she does the same thing for the Strip Free podcast, which is Kim's podcast. Allie is incredible. She can do the same kind of excellence for your church social media or communications team. She'd love to come and do some coaching with them. She creates content as well. She builds websites. She creates logos, all kinds of stuff. She's just the best. We'll tag her below. 10 out of 10 recommend Allie B Creative. And thanks to Scott Hoke for our intro. Guys, I love you, man. I love you so much. Thank you for listening and watching episode 389, the best of the big room question. Until next time, deuces.